This is going to be a guide on how to start cold emailing if you're broke. I guarantee you've looked online and you've seen all the people going around saying, look, cold email is a great way of getting clients, but they fail to tell you the fact that everything costs a bloody fortune when you run it, right? Why should you listen to me? My name's Liam. I'm the founder of MTOS and I run a lead generation agency, currently working with 5 to 7 clients across the board. I've sent around 75,000 cold emails in the last month alone, and I also signed my first client off a system that cost me $70 a year to run. So this is going to be my learnings, teachings, and everything within that kind of realm and vicinity. So I'm going to get right into it. So listen, I get it. You're just starting out. You've got a killer service or product, but you're staring at your bank account like, how the heck am I going to make this work, right? Everything is so expensive, and you have your service, and you've been watching videos online, seeing how to do not even just your service, but also just signing clients in general and figuring out how that realm of things operates. So, you know how I know this? Because I was in your exact same shoes 8 months ago with the same problem, and I was signing clients with cold email. So this is going to be what this doc is about and how I'm going to be going about it. Awesome. So this is a funny little gif of Bart Simpson. Today we're going to be going through how to start cold emailing when you're broke. The average cold email setup costs around $300 to $400 per month if you do it right. But don't worry, because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step with an internet connection, determination, and half the price. So let's get into the tactics. I built out a Miro board to show what parts of cold email cost money. The most amount of money, the least amount of money, where you should be basically directing most of your focus. And we'll tackle these one by one. The ones in red cost money. So, when you begin cold emailing, you need to buy emails from domains, which is Cloudflare, Pork1, GoDaddy. Like if you set up a website, you've seen these kind of like places where you buy domain registrars, where you buy domains. So obviously that's a set cost. You then need to talk to ESPs or email sending providers. So Google, Outlook, MailForge, MailScale, all these are private and public, which I'll get into later on in the video. As you can see, there's a section here. But these guys, what they do is they're selling you inboxes. And inboxes is where most of your money is going. And I guarantee you've looked at it and you've been like, that's $7 an inbox, right? That's also like extremely expensive, right? Yeah, because you're right. Even I think that. And most other people understand this game too. And they think the same. It's extremely expensive. Like when you're running a business or an agency where you run cold email, like the margin when you're running that sort of stuff can get kind of like shaky. So I'll be showing you ways kind of around it and how to work around certain things like this. And then you go into the email sending software. So this is Instantly, Smartly, Mistrika. These are pretty set costs. You kind of can get around these, but there is a few tactics, which again, there's a sending software section, which I'll be going through. And then lastly, there's the lead section. So lead sourcing platforms, you're talking Apollo, LinkedIn, LeadSwift, D7, all of these kind of like platforms or um, places like databases where you can get leads from. And truthfully, you can use them. They're actually very good. But I'm going to be showing you how to get them for pennies on the dollar, where it's like you can get 1,000 leads for $1.50, and I'll show that kind of in this as well. So let's get right into it. So domains. Obviously here we have domains as the first one. So all cold emails need to be sent from a domain. Please do not be that person that is sending from a Gmail. To give you a few very, very simple, blatant reasons is you land in spam more, it looks unprofessional, and like when people see it, it's just like you're emailing me from a Gmail. Because I've had that happen to me as well, where people come along and they email me from their Gmail, and you're just like, oh, so this is you from a Gmail. I can't even look you up online. So that's just kind of my reaction generally. I'd like to think other people are in the same boat, but I'm not other people, so I can't really say that for you. And then the next one is, yeah, so at businessgmails.com. Like for me, it's Liam at mtos.com. And the reason this is so good is because when people like look at you and they're like, okay, so it's a business. That's step one of a sequence of like good things. And then the next one is, okay, I'm gonna put in mtos.com into the search bar and see if you're actually a legit company. Like, are you actually a proper person? Like, do you exist? Should I actually listen to what you're trying to say to me? And yeah, so that's probably the next step of the process. So I get mine from Pork Bun, and so does like every lead generation guy I know. The reason being is for some higher level stuff, which will be kind of gotten in, I'll go into kind of further on. I'll go like give a quick overview. When you buy domains from a registrar, those domains actually have IPs as well attached to what they do. And when you run an IP and the IP is, let's say, screwed on, there's lots of different people buying from the registrar as well, you don't really want to be using those. So Pork Bun has everything kind of set up correctly. Just use them. You're not going to like lose anything from doing this. So this costs around $10 per .com domain and $6 per .co domain. Pick as many as you like. Just know it gets like just a tad expensive if you buy more. So if you want to do more volume, some more clients, obviously pick up more. Um, the next thing is if you buy from Pork Bun at the right time, they have a half price sale or a quarter price sale, and the timing is really good, making it insanely cheap. So I remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I signed on a new client and I looked to buy out like their domains, and instead of $11, it was six for a .com, $6 for a .com. So if you're buying 10, you're saving $50. And then .co, where I think it was about $2. So it's like I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up a lot. So I picked up a lot, and it was like 20, 25 domains for them, and it was like happy days. Like I'm not gonna complain. So next on the list is inboxes. Yeah. So again, when you look at Google and Microsoft, which are kind of the main choices on the market, they cost about $7 per inbox, which is an insane amount sometimes anyways. Like if you're running some big mega multi corp and you're like, $7 an inbox, I make like a million a year in profit, who cares? That's a you problem. I'm currently not in that space, and a lot of the lead gen guys I know, because when you're running margins like this and you don't have a ticket size of like 100K, it gets a bit more nifty. So I'm going to assume you don't have this sort of money to throw around, so I'm going to show you how you can get it cheaper. And first, before we do all that, you need to know the difference between private and public infrastructure, because those are two very different things. So private versus public infrastructure. So public is Google and Microsoft. But if you use resellers, you drop the price. So public is basically Google and Microsoft. And the reason people use public is because they will be here for forever. They're never going anywhere. Like I know Google has a thing right now where they're getting split up and they got I don't know, the court in like America is just like tearing them apart or something. But generally, Google and Microsoft will never be going anywhere. Like Gmail and Outlook, like who's gonna get rid of them? There's 90% of the world is on them, right? So when you run Google and Microsoft, there's a few kind of benefits where you get the dependency of the fact that they're Google and Microsoft. And when you're contacting different kind of providers, or maybe even if you're going Google to Google, you have a better chance of landing inside the inbox. So there's a few ways of getting cheaper inboxes with Google and Microsoft specifically. So this is public infrastructure. So you can use resellers. And this is one of them. This is one of the ways. And they can drop the price for as low as $1 per inbox per month. And that sounds like an incredible deal because like it just sounds like an incredible deal. From 7 to 1, I'm saving 1/7 the price. Like that's really good now. And again, this may sound tempting, but trust me, when you start hitting spam, you'll need to spend that money again, and it'll make you really, really sad because you'll be like, why did this like mess up? And the reason being is they control the inboxes and the IPs. And that doesn't sound like a lot, and it doesn't sound like a very what's the word, difficult thing, or like it doesn't sound like something like a big deal. But what happens is a lot of these people that are buying your inboxes, right? What they'll do is they'll like go to a different country, not like physically, but like set a VPN or something, change it, and they can buy inboxes for cheaper. And the way that works is then they'll buy for cheaper, and then they'll come to you next, and they'll be like, "Look, say give me $1, and I'll buy it from this like Indian thing, okay? Like India, like vicinity." The problem with that is India has terrible deliverability to countries like EU and America. And the reason being is a lot of spammers are on kind of that network or in that country. So Google and Microsoft that are based in America and EU will treat Indian emails differently, or maybe like Eastern European, or basically areas or countries that aren't known for more like they don't have like laws around this. Like in America, they have the Can't Spam Act, and in EU they have like GDPR. So like you can kind of know that if you're sending from let's say EU to America, then it's probably a legit person, it's a legit deal. They have legitness, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. So if I ever use resellers, I've used premium inboxes, and these guys are super legit, right? I have a bunch of inboxes with them right now, and they have really, really good customer support, and they're good at kind of like patching things up when stuff kind of goes like haywire and completely nuts, like soup to nuts, like it's crazy. And there's no horror stories. And like if you go onto X or you look up their site, you'll see there's a bunch of testimonials, people like actually using them. Would recommend. So they run for about half the price at $3.50 per month. And private infrastructure, yeah, sorry, yeah, at $3.50 per month. Skipping the gun there, I'm so excited. And the other thing is they basically get their inboxes slash IPs from American and EU countries. This is good because, well, American and EU, I've just like given full explanation, so like it'll just deliver better between different countries. So that's what I'd recommend in terms of like Outlook. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really touched that because most of my like not most, yeah, actually yeah, most. I run a lot of my clients off premium inboxes, and like they've been fine. Deliverability is fine. Responses are fine. So that's public infrastructure. Let's go into private now. So private infrastructure is companies that build out the back end of their business specifically to cold email people. Like this is their entire business is based off the fact that I can send cold emails for a cheaper price than public. Like that's the whole idea. It's companies like MailScale, MailForge, Superwave. Just look it up. Just look up inboxes. I don't know, like public inboxes, right? I know all these off by heart, so I don't do it, but you'll see them if you look for them. The problem with this is they can up and leave at any point in time, and that's your business gone. Also, I forgot to mention, and if you made it this far, this is fair. Good job. Second thing is this doc will be in the description below, so you can have a look at it. I won't have it behind some stupid paywall or email. It'll just be like you can just look at it and click around and stuff. So, okay, continuing on. If these guys are private, like Google and Microsoft will never go anywhere. These guys can, right? If they shut down their business, if they're not profitable, they can just up and go and disappear. And that's obviously your outbound gone because, well, your outbound's gone. And if that's one of your main client acquisition channels, and I've had it happen to me where my client acquisition channel just disappears and ups and goes, and you don't want that to happen, obviously. And the next thing is they aren't as trusted as Google or Microsoft. Like, let's say a server from Google or Microsoft is emailing to each other. They're like, okay, so you're Google and you're Microsoft, and I know the two of you exist, and you're both really big entities, and we're not going to screw each other over by sending spam emails. So yeah, okay, we'll let you through. But then you have someone that shows along, and they're like, I'm not Google or I'm not Microsoft, and I'm emailing one of you two. And then it's like the question is, like, are you legit? Like, how does that kind of work then? So it's just not like it doesn't have the same kind of authority. But there's ways of kind of getting around that and like spam and stuff. But generally, that's kind of the how it's kind of working. And but what you pay for on risk, you get in price. The average pricing for an inbox is $2.50, a far cry from seven, and cheaper than a cup of coffee basically per month. So if you buy coffee, just stop drinking it. I'm kidding. Well, actually, I've actually stopped drinking coffee. Funnily enough, bit of a tangent. Not even a tangent, just a rant. But I have slowly stopped drinking coffee. Or I'm trying to, anyways. I'm like 3 days clean. But moving on to more important things. So this is just at an inbox level. So if you're buying inboxes from even public or private infrastructure, you're going to have the same, like you're going to have to pay for the inboxes. But if you want to go further and you actually want to own the inboxes and not pay for them, you can purchase IPs. And basically, an IP, the way it works is when you send an email, IPs have to interact with each other. And it goes from like IP to IP, and then it goes from IP to inbox. So that just means that if you own the IP and there's no one else on the IP, then if you land in spam or if anything bad goes wrong, or even if stuff goes good, like that's all on you. So you know the cause of the problem that's going on. So there are places you can buy IPs and you can host your inboxes for about less than $1 or about $1 in a sense. And this place is called Do You Mail. There's a few others, but I do have some emails with these guys. And the way this works is you can host your own IP with your own domains, and it costs about $50 per month. And with that, you can host around between 30. I'll put 30 and 50 inboxes in here, just because the less inboxes you have, the safer your IP is. And I've had it that an IP is just like flagged and I've lost everything. And obviously, you don't want that to happen. You also don't have to deal with all the idiot spammers that exist on the other platforms, because that's what happens. If you have lots of people connected to an IP on Google and one person destroys the IP, it also ruins your deliverability. And that's just kind of how it works. I used, yeah, okay. And then now the big honcho thing at the end is I used private infrastructure at the beginning. Specifically, I ran a hostinger setup to Titan email. And I'm going to be honest, it worked for a bit. It cost me about $43 per year for hostinger. The Titan mail came as a benefit, and I got about 300 inboxes for that price. If you're interested, this is the video. Again, this is going to be in the link in the description. And I've moved away from those times since I was getting flagged by their system. So I would recommend using some of the systems I've recommended in this doc. But if you really are strapped for cash and you want to have a look at how I built out the system when I was completely like I had no money, then yeah, you can definitely have a look at that. So this is quite in depth, and you now know the providers. Please don't be a sheep and actually do the research. Just do the research, go around and actually figure out which one is best for your business at this point in time for this exact reason or this exact purpose, because you never actually know which one is best for your business at this exact time. So yeah, just do some research. If you're watching this far, then you probably have a brain in between your ears. Right. So the next thing is sending software. So there's two main giants on the market for sending softwares. It's Instantly and Smartly. And to be honest, both cost a pretty relative amount, to say the least. It's about, from what I know from the two of them, it's about 35 to about 39 for the first plan, and then the next one from the plan up is about 95 to 105, something like that. Oh, I haven't looked at it in so long because it's just like on payment. And yeah, so if you're broke, you're going to be looking at the starter plans, which are around $35 a month. If you have the money to fork out, then do it. That's what I recommend. You're paying for reliability and quality at the end of the day. So, like, there's a reason these guys are at top of the market. They have all the best features, they have everything you could ever think of, and they're just the best. And they're going to keep iterating and they're going to keep being the best. And if you don't use them, you're going to be left behind. But I also understand that when you do something like this, you can be strapped for cash, and 35 a month probably sounds a bit daunting at this point in time. So again, you should also be sending like DMs and stuff, but that's a whole different thing. Send like be sending DMs to people. So sorry, moving on. I know of another sending tool called Streakout. So this is the same founder as Do You Mail, so he has a good idea of how this works. If you're really broke, this is what I'd recommend. It's about $20 per month if you buy it monthly, which is pretty good. Like it's a far cry. You're saving. It's nearly half the price. And if you have some spare cash, you can buy a lifetime deal, so you never pay again. So again, I know the owner. He's a G. So this is where it goes. This is just make sure it actually opens up. And basically, this is AppSumo, and this is where you can buy lifetime deals one time, and you basically get them for life. And the idea is you then advertise it to other people, kind of like I'm doing it right now, which is funny. And you basically get everything you can for a 125 payment. And like if you can afford that, then run this, because then you don't have to pay the $20 per month, and it's constantly in the back of your mind of, do I have to keep paying this? So moving on, the next thing on the list is lead sourcing. Of course, you need to figure out how to actually source leads and figure out everything on this end. And I'm going to be going into the ways of building leads lists and how to generate thousands of leads for pennies, right? Specifically, if I was to give you an exact number, it's $1.50 for about 1,000 leads, and I'll go through it now. So, leads list building can be broken into two parts: local versus global leads lists. Certain companies can only be found on Google Maps. That is a given, but that automatically disqualifies them nearly all of the time. If they don't have a site, socials, or email, what are the chances you want to deal with them? And do not be that guy that comes to me and says, but if they don't have a site, Leo, I can build them a site. Or if they don't have socials, I can do their socials. No, they're poor, okay? I'm sorry, they're poor. That's kind of like you not having a website now, and then someone emailing you saying, would you like a website? You can't afford it, okay? You're poor. These guys have bad businesses, okay? Just don't do it. They don't know what they're doing, right? Like, that's, yeah, so that's just me. That's just me getting kind of passionate. But if they don't have it, just don't email them, okay? You can do it at your own like if you want, let's say, starter clients and you want to do free work, go ahead. But in general, these guys are poor. So, but still, there are times you will need to contact them. The best databases I've used for local businesses is Google Maps. These guys literally have everything on there. And basically, you use Data Scraper. And this is basically a free extension, so I have it up here. And it just scrapes sites completely for free for you. And you then get their websites and a few of their details, depending on what you're looking for. This is free. This is if you're completely broke, obviously. LeadSwift is another one. It gives you data on their online tech presence. It's about 25 a month, and I definitely recommend having a look at them, seeing kind of how it matches up with what other things you're doing. And they have unlimited exports, which is very nice. So definitely have a look at them. I use them myself sometimes. And in D7 Lead Finder, these guys are just like the big go to the market. They have like a massive database, like a huge database. So have a look at them as well. So these are the kind of the local ones I've seen. And again, look around and see if there's other ones because I'm not like I know what I'm doing, but there's obviously loads of other ones on the market you can have a look at. There's global databases as well. So these are more comprehensive. These are the ones that say I have a database of like 350 million plus people, or I have like 500,000 people in my database, right? It's like Apollo, ListKit, ZoomInfo. These guys are like the goats of the market, and like that. Those are the only ones I hear about, to be honest. So most databases just use a LinkedIn's database. So if you want the most updated info, you just have to scrape LinkedIn. And the reason being is well, like databases go out of like whack. It's basically impossible to stay up to date with 300 million people. Like the cost, like the software backend cost on that. Don't even get me into that. Like the software end, like the cost wise is crazy. So general LinkedIn tools I'm using are Phantom Buster, Texel, and Applify. If I was to make a full video on this, this would literally take like an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours because it's just that comprehensive and there's a lot of stuff you need to kind of figure out. And yeah, so I would definitely tweak it, have a look around, see if this is something you want to try. If push comes to shove, just use these databases and just see what happens. These cost a pretty penny. I'm not gonna lie. And I like again, I won't go into how to use them, but just play around and see if this is something you want to do, because some of them have free trials. So now these two databases can be broken down into three sections. So free, intermediate, and expensive. Let's start with free. The only real free way of getting leads slash emails is manually scraping them. So if you're broke, this is the way, right? This is the Google Maps and um oh shoot, what's the other one? Google Maps and Data Scraper combination. So the benefit is you'll be reaching people not in databases because it's physically impossible to have literally everyone in a database. I'm sorry, you can be incredible and you can do like 300 million, but it's impossible. You can then personalize the emails as well. So as you're, let's say, scraping these emails, you can be like, okay, so this person worked with this person and this person. He also does this service and he's also generated this much revenue. That's personalizing the emails. And obviously this is like it's very effective because you did research on the person and obviously people notice that. So the negatives are there's no volume. You can't test what works if your offer sucks, and it's also very time consuming. So obviously no volume. You literally have to go and like you have to go to their site, go through, find their emails, find their personalization, go open an email tab now or already have it open, copy and paste your template in, personalize the line that you need, and then you send off. And you have to do that again, and you have to keep doing that. Like it just takes forever. There's a reason these platforms exist to do it. So you can't test what works if your offer sucks. So generally, the way it works is you'll be getting feedback from the market. Like if you send 1,000 emails, you'll know if people want or don't want your stuff. But you can't do that with this. And then it's also time consuming. So I've gone through that. So how to do it, use Google Maps, scrape with Data Scraper, and then go to each individual site. Pretty simple. Oh, we're missing one. Next is intermediate. This starts to give you more leverage. You're looking at databases, maybe some intent data. And you'd be looking at the maybe like Apollo, maybe ListKit. It's like, okay, it's like a bit more expensive, but it's like it's not there yet. So the benefits is you can run volume, obviously, because you're getting like 1,000, 10,000 leads, and you can iterate on your data or your offer with data, an empty slot, which is funny, and you can save time. So you don't have to go and scrape everything manually, and there's all this stuff. You just don't have to do that. The negatives are if you can get this too at a pretty reasonable price, other people are going to get it too, and obviously their inbox is going to be absolutely ripped to shreds with cold email. And if you're not good at cold email, you're just not gonna like land in the inbox. Like when you get in, they just won't care. You can't personalize emails, which is obviously the next one. Like you need to like one of the points of a successful email campaign is knowing kind of how to personalize slash segment your list properly. And if you can't personalize the emails, then obviously that's 1 point down or 1 mark down, unless you're using AI, of course. Which I will have a video coming out about soon, by the way, because that was it's an unreal video. I'm going to tell you now, it's fire, it's fire. So more expensive as well, of course. These other databases are either free or on the lower end. These are way more expensive. So how to do this? You buy from databases like LeadSwift, D7 Lead Finder, Global, Apollo, ListKit, Warp Leads. And that's where you kind of like get the leads from. So lastly, there's the expensive databases. To be honest, I don't use them that often, but I just wanted to put them in here so like you guys have a general idea of what is on the market. Like it's good to know and not use them. They're more for kind of SDRs and really high ticket packages, and then people that they just look at it and they're like, okay. So the benefits, volume. Obviously, you can run some volume if you're buying from these kind of more expensive databases as well. You can iterate on your offer with data. More expensive can be a benefit and a negative, and I'll explain in a second. You save time, obviously, so it's the same kind of ones, but less people have the same data, which is the main thing. So when less people have the same data as you then obviously like you're a tier up, and you aren't in the same pool as other people. So like let's say this person has an email that's a bit more difficult to get. And when you run it off that kind of you send an email to them, they're like, okay, so I haven't received as many emails because let's say I changed my email. And this costs more money and there's a reason people are doing this. The negatives are if you can get it, others can get it too. It's just less people, you have less competition, and you can't personalize the emails. So these are basically Zoom Info and Clearbit. I know a story. I was talking to someone, and he was on a call with someone else. It was like a monkey see, monkey do type of thing. And he was like, this person on the call, they were about to spend like 12K on that on Zoom Info package for leads. I was like, what? There's definitely better ways of going about this, but you know what? You do you, chief. If you can blow 12K on that, I'm not stopping you. Awesome, awesome. So next I'm going to go through how you can get data from Apollo for a fraction of the price. I've recorded a more in-depth video here, and this is basically how to generate thousands of Apollo leads for $1.50 in 3 minutes. But if you don't care about that, I'll give you the TLDR. Don't want to stare at my face for another 3 minutes. How sad. So what you do is you make a free Apollo account, and you go to the search and you filter by ICP, position, industry, location, employee. Basically, get your ICP. Take the URL from the search bar, look up Apollo export. So I'm going to go this is the one I use primarily. And let's hope it loads and it doesn't like be mean. These guys are awesome. I use these guys a lot. And basically you fill out a form and you pay $1.50 for 1,000 leads. That's going to last you a long time. Like if you're not able to send as many, this is going to cost you maybe $7.50 for the month. And you can just turn off your brain and just let it run. So this is how I get a majority of my leads, cheap and high quality. If you do just one thing from this, just do this, please. Awesome. So email verifier is next on the list. So what is an email verifier? Right. I'm gonna go slightly tech oriented for like 2 seconds so you actually understand what the hell I'm saying. When sending an email, you have a reputation on a few levels, right? Inbox, domains, and IP, right? There's 3 kind of different levels to this. And each need to be at 100% for the sender and receiver to say, this person isn't a spammer, right? One big indicator of any of these being at 100% is the person sending to real people and are his emails bouncing? So if you've ever sent to someone and you receive the response back saying mail not delivered or mail undelivered, something like that, that's it coming back to you and just saying like this isn't a real person. If you send too many of those, the person that you're first of all using to send your emails will flag you and be like, stop sending to these fake people, you're hurting my emails reputation. And then the person that you're sending to will flag you and be like, yeah, that IP sucks, don't receive emails from that. So then what you've done is you've just kind of screwed yourself because now both of them are on your ass and you're trying to figure out how to like work this out. So this is how you stop that. This is what you're looking out for, and this is what an email verifier solved. Emails are bucketed into a few categories: valid, invalid, catch-all, unknown, and risky. You only send to valid emails, and there's a ton of tools on the market, and this is just a small list, right? It's Million Verifier, SMTP Verifier, and Clean Email. So the way this works is when you put it through these softwares, it'll give you one of these kind of 5 tags like in front of you. And when you run a valid, like you should only be emailing valid emails. Only email valid emails. Do not do anything else, right? Just don't. It's not worth emailing invalid catch-alls, unknowns, or riskies. Like it's physically not worth it because the more like if you have a like 2.5, 3% plus bounce rate, it's not great. Like you don't want to be seeing that. So, yeah, so these guys are fairly cheap, and it's just one of those things. So you can validate catch-alls and unloans. It's just a bit more expensive. Benefits of this is everyone is leaving money on the table when not emailing catch-alls. So tools on the market for email or validating catch-alls is Scrubby and Catch-all Verifier. And basically, the way they do this is they make a bunch of IPs, right? And they rotate through IPs, and they just fry IP after IP after IP, and they just test the emails and just keep sending back and forth. And the process is just it's kind of beyond me, to be honest. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's just beyond me, but it works, and you're emailing people that usually wouldn't be emailed. So if you're purchasing any email verifiers from the market, make sure to have a look at AppSumo first. They have a bunch, and definitely see if they have some lifetime deals that fit your budget. And just to be honest, in general, if you buy any software, just look at AppSumo first because you're just like you're just gonna be saving money. So just do that. A bonus. So this is a bonus section to help you get your feet on the ground and start sending emails. So here's a template that has worked universally across my campaigns and also helped me get one of my first clients. So hi name, found you online when looking for niche and area. You seem like a fit, so I figured I'd reach out. We can help you benefit in time frame without paying. Mind if I send over a video about how it works? So a really quick breakdown is that it's very short. This is literally like I would say like 30 words or something. Short, personalized, and it gets right to the point. No fluff, you're speaking directly to their needs and you're offering a solution. That's how you stand out in a crowded inbox. Simple but effective. So, hi, Liam found you guys online. We're looking for agencies in Dublin. You seem like a fit, so I figured I'd reach out. We can help you get 10 to 15 more digital marketing agency clients in the next 3 months without having to run ads or something like that. Mind if I send over a video about how it works? Basically, running a soft CTA, and then you can sell them on the CTA. So make sure you have a good video, your video game's on point. The main thing on this is a template. Success in cold email is basically seeing what other people are doing and just not doing that. This is kind of when you get kind of higher level. This is like just like one of those kind of videos, but like when you get higher level, you need to realize that everybody is watching this video as well, and lots of people have gotten that framework. So it's like now everybody's sending that. And I need to find a way to differentiate. So maybe you change out the initial opening. So it's like saw you helped X this person or saw you help this industry do this. You have to kind of differentiate, but this is something you have to iterate and figure out over time. So if you made it this far, your goal is to go make money now because you actually know what the hell you're doing and you better keep doing that. And yeah, and it's also way cheaper. And one last thing, this is done for you cold email lead gen. So if you've watched this whole video to the end and you're doing a minimum of 20K per month and you're a digital marketing agency and you want to book between 5 to 25 meetings a month, book a call. Because again, this whole process is a big pain in the ass sometimes. But if there's anything else, just subscribe. I have an X with a few of my details. Keep up to date on that. And goodbye. And